The following podcast contains potentially tough subject matter, controversial topics, and/or strong language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Did you hear about the two guys that stole a calendar? They each got 6 months.
Shut up and sit down.
Hello and welcome to the Knights of the Wrong Table podcast, number 2.
Episode 2.
Yes, the second and last. All right, well,
I am Sir Bors.
I am Sir Percival.
Galahad.
And we're
Such
definitely at the wrong table.
Yeah.
Let's get this started.
So yeah, what's up, guys? How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Tired?
Yeah, same. Fantastic though.
Yeah.
Fantastically tired.
What's so fantastic about your
Nothing.
life?
Just try to keep saying that so maybe one day I'll believe it.
Yeah, well.
Oh, man.
They say that seeing is believing.
No, crap. I'm blind.
So you guys hear about the Kendrick Lamar thing this week?
Yes, from you via text.
Okay. I was trying to
Ruined
make it
our
sound
immersion.
like... Yeah, way to go, Austin. No, so... sorry, Sir Galahad?
You shouldn't use my government name like that.
No, so apparently Kendrick Lamar invited this one chick on stage with him to rap one of his songs.
It was oh god, what was it? I forget what it's called.
Oh, Delaney. Her name was Delaney. She's like, I'm Delaney, and she was like,
Okay, she was the whitest white girl.
Oh, I know.
I've ever.
Yo,
Did she
I'm
walk up with
Delaney.
Starbucks?
No.
Starbucks in hand.
Anyway,
No.
tell a story.
No. Okay. So she gets up on stage and everything's all fine and dandy. The Kendrick Lamar's like, yeah, and the first thing she says, actually no, she misses the first N-word, so she says the N-word.
Yeah.
And yeah, the crowd turns immediately against her. And then not only that, Kendrick Lamar decided to then shut it down, tell her that she like what she did, and then ask the crowd to like, you guys want to continue to let her go. So he condemns her, and then he's all like, but wait, do you guys still want her to rap some more?
So like literally after like they all screamed at her, he goes,
Dude,
he pulls a, so I give the choice to you.
the people.
The people.
So he, right after this, he
Pulls the Bane.
He pulls like the you messed up kind of thing, and she's all like, and she's completely clueless. Like that's the whole thing, is that she doesn't know what she's done wrong, because
I mean, it's
here's how I look at it. This chick probably listens to Kendrick Lamar every day, and she probably doesn't think anything about it. He wrote the song. He picked her to be on stage with him, and instead of having like a slight unifying moment where he's all like, hey, she's up on stage with me, guys. Like, I'm gonna let her say it while she's on stage, but beat her up if she's not on stage. Like, you can have, you can have something like funny like that, you know?
Replace the N with a W.
Wigga. Like,
I feel like
no. Like, I get it. There's a lot of like years. There's a lot of God bless, I can't even talk right now. There's a lot of condemnation towards that word. Condensation. No, and I don't know.
Here's my thing. If one group of people's not allowed air quotes heavily to use a word, then if it's really that big of a problem, nobody should use it, period, the end, or anybody can use it. You can't go around saying that, oh, this word has a certain connotation to a certain group of people, so you are not allowed to use it because you do not belong to that certain group.
I understand why it's been condemned in so many settings, but the thing is I also agree with the fact that it shouldn't be condemned for like one group of people shouldn't be able to say it by themselves, because that's the only word for the only culture that does that.
Yeah.
I think that I'm not saying that like white people should be able to say it like freely. I also think that it's dumb that it's been as condemned.
If it's such a terrible thing, everyone stop using it. Quit acting like it's normal vernacular.
Exactly.
Or if anything, stop putting it in your songs. That people are buying your CDs and then rapping to like in their cars, because then it's like, sorry, but a lot of people in this country and a lot of people that consume black music are white people, and so it's like I'm not gonna like censor myself in the car when I'm rapping to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like so I don't know. I mean, he could have really made a unifying moment, and that's my biggest beef, is that not only did he not unify, he condemned her. Now her social life is completely ruined.
Hey, you're the N-word girl, right?
Yeah, you're that girl that's incredibly racist and stayed up on stage.
And that's
Mom.
And that's the thing.
I know, Mom.
She comes home and her dad's just sitting at the kitchen like stirring a salad.
Shaking his head.
He's just like tossing a salad and just like,
get out of my house, you black hating white person.
You're dead to me.
You disgrace. I don't think that's where he messed up though. That's not the first place he messed up.
I don't think he handled it right.
He didn't after it happened, but he could have handled it before it happened. He could have made that not a thing. He could have either said to her on stage,
Don't say this word.
Don't say this word. Like, replace it with something that's not racist. Or or just not call a white person up to sing a song that has a lot of the N-word in it.
There you go.
That's an easy solved.
That was within like the first 30 seconds.
It's an easily solved
or 4.
No.
Yeah.
So I'll pull up the
30 seconds.
It's an easily solved problem that he should have thought about before the whole thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. I mean, I understand. Adrenaline. He's living in the moment. He's at a concert. It's his concert. He's on stage. But I mean, he's done this before. Not the whole white girl saying the N-word.
So here's the full hook. And I'm not gonna say the N-word because I don't want to have that right now. Man down. Where you from? My N. F who you know. Where you from? My N. Where your grandma stay, huh? My N.
Grandma stay. It's like namaste.
This mad city, I run my N.
That's 4.
That's 4 in the hook.
In like
itself.
2 stanzas.
Yeah. That's
There's hardly a haiku there.
Literally, the first stanza has 4 in them.
Yeah, and I don't know. Just pick a black person. There's probably plenty of them there. Like,
it's. I mean, and also kind of touching on what you said about not stop putting it in your music. And it's. I don't think it's that they don't think white people are going to listen to the music. Because if that was the case, that would be ignorant to not think that white people were going to listen to your music no matter what color you are.
Mm.
I think it's also...
If they're embracing your culture, give them a pass. If they're embracing your culture, let them...
Yeah.
In that instance.
I see what you're saying, but then there's going to be those people that take it too far. And there's going to be the people that are like, oh, we're allowed to say it in the songs. Why can't we just say it now? Let's just start saying it now.
Well, that's one... Like, in my own opinion, like Austin said, it should be free reign. Sorry, Sir Galahad. No, it should be not government named. It should be
FDA approved.
FDA approved. No, but since we're not there yet,
USDA certified organic.
Since we're clearly not there yet, then
gluten free.
No, since we're clearly not there yet.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a long while. The best way to get to that point where there's no hatred in the word.
Well, here's what I find ironic. That like you have a group of people, say it's a different word. Say only people I know in my close inner circle can use the word fish. Because fish is just like nonchalant conversation for us, but anyone else who uses the word fish is offensive and like slandering us. How can we justify using the word fish if it means such a terrible thing?
Well, and then on top of
like,
that,
how can we defend
you have to add the fact that they were called that So if we were like as a group called fish as a derogatory, like your face is weird, you're a fish, boy. Like if that was,
Wow.
sorry, no, I mean,
that's what I was gonna say was, I understand that that word was used in a negative way for many of years, because I mean it was used as an insult on a culture, but that's not where the word came from. That's not what it was originally used for. It was completely different definition. Now it has this negative connotation because of the history with it. That I mean we're not gonna be able to get away from.
but, and
I feel like it's only gotten worse.
How are we more racist now than we were in the 1960s?
I was talking about like the connotation behind the word.
I know. How is it more racist now to say it now than it is back in the 1960s? Like, how am I now?
Back in the 1960s, going back to the 1800s when black people were slaves.
Yeah.
Like, how is it worse now than when it was used then?
And that is like the ultimate question. Like,
42.
no, like, how do we fix it? I mean, like I said, the greatest like fixer for all of that, whether or not if he would have had a positive outlook and the crowd was still against him, then yeah, shut her down.
Yeah.
But he messed up at the beginning. He picked the wrong person to do it. He probably picked the wrong song to do it. He probably none of his songs he could probably allow a white person to do without them getting,
Yeah.
But I don't think that he should have condemned her in the moment.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing that he possibly could have done.
Here's probably like a sidebar like point. How many people do you honestly believe were either not under the influence of some drug, whatever it may be, or drunk at this concert? Because I know, like, I went to an area in North Carolina a few years ago, and concerts were just a thing where you went and got drunk. Didn't matter who was singing.
You're right.
I mean, it was in Alabama.
Yeah, that's
So
probably a lot of beer.
But then all on top of Alabama.
The state.
the state.
Clearly. No, what's the black population in Alabama?
I think Alabama is a state of mind. I will look it up.
I doth hear it is a sweet home.
Sweet home, Leonard Skinner.
Okay.
In Alabama.
I know my copyright rules,
25,
sir.
About 13% of the total total U.S. population is African American. However, in Alabama, African Americans make up about 25%.
So
of
they
the
have
total
above
population.
normal. So they have above normal.
Yeah.
Clearly. So then that means like okay.
Which I mean,
that doesn't really change anything. I was just curious to know like what the population could have been at the Kendrick Lamar show.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying.
I mean,
like if it was a 50-50 at that show, then yeah, I can understand.
And you got to see it's not going to be people just from Alabama that are going to the show. People will probably fly out to see this show depending on where they live.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
or drive,
or especially depending on how close it was to like the border of other states.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm possibly going to a Kendrick Lamar concert this coming Friday.
Yeah.
So I mean,
don't go on stage.
I know, but
I don't know many of his songs besides like DNA, Humble, and
I just feel so bad for her, man. That's my biggest thing. Is I feel like she probably owns all of his CDs. She probably knows all of his songs. She probably looks up to Kendrick Lamar to like the fullest extent. I don't know. She might still.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I feel like it's not just her fault though. It's equal parts her and his fault.
Yeah.
It could have been prevented by both people. If he didn't say anything at all, which he didn't, but if he didn't, she could have thought, I probably shouldn't say this. But at the same time, she's a huge fan. She's at the concert.
We don't even know her friends, right?
Yeah.
She could have grown up around a lot of black people.
And they could have been okay with it. They could have
given her that pass. They could have given her that quote unquote like black card kind of a thing,
Yeah.
And like allowed her to talk in that way, so that when she was on stage, it was totally fine for her.
Is that the same as blackmail?
What?
Sorry.
No, I mean we don't fully
shortstop.
we don't fully understand like
where
she's coming from.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Stop. I don't listen to the word stop.
Short
Oh, that sounds awful.
Oh yeah, no.
You know how fast you're going? I don't know how fast you have to go to catch me. I found an article about what happened with Kendrick Lamar on stage, and it was on Variety.com, and
Verity.
no,
It's Verity.
The headline for this article is Kendrick Lamar's onstage outrage: Why rap should retire the N-word for good.
Which, as a title, doesn't sound
Great.
well that crazy or that bad.
True.
I mean, like that bad or that good.
Kind of like a middle ground, neutral stance on the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not like crazy white chick screams N-word during concert. You know?
crazy racist.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a little it's a middle ground.
Well, and then it said kind of what I guess you were talking about. It says, is it really fair to have one set of rules for black fans and another set for white fans?
Yeah.
And that's just the ultimate question. That is the ultimate question.
You can ask 100 people and get 100 answers.
Yeah,
Yeah, but there are always going to be 100 different people. You're not going to have the same people doing the poll.
Yeah.
and that's the whole thing is that we're all individuals. We're all different. Yes. Yes.
This is just a construct.
And part of the article is in quotes, it says, if they can say it, why can't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there are bad words for Jews, like the K word. I don't like that word either.
what, kosher?
What do you?
No.
We can edit it out.
Okay.
I've never.
Oh,
heard
I
that.
have heard that.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
Lil Dicky uses it a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Like my extent goes to like jokes, and that's about it.
Okay, you can't edit that word out, please.
Yes, I will.
But
and all the years I've been debating race and racism.
oh, I didn't even get to go where I was going to go with that. But yeah, no, there are bad words for other races as well that are actual real insults. The Jews don't use the K word in that manner, and yet nobody like they don't walk around and be all like, yo, my K, yo.
Every kiss begins with.
Oh, don't. Oh no, that's not even good. Austin.
Oh my god! You're awful. This whole name.
I know. I'm so bad.
the K word, kosher.
No, it's so, but they don't use it in their. They don't use it,
Yeah.
and we don't use it either.
The N word is the only.
Only anti-Semitic people use it, kind of a deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the only word, like derogatory word for a race or a culture that's used by that culture in a good way.
To empower themselves. Yeah.
Which, I mean, all power to them.
Yeah.
I mean, the race has been through some tough shit.
Yeah.
But it's also like, everything can't be blamed on the white man.
Yeah.
Not everything happened because of white people.
No.
And I mean, that's just kind of like, we have to find this middle ground of,
especially not the white people that are alive right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe the ones that are dying off, but the ones. No,
you,
but
you mean the greatest generation that served in World War II? That one, Caleb?
you mean the one that ruined the economy?
you mean those old racist white men? Sure. No. Wait. So
You mean
what did you
Steve
just
from
call me, sir?
accounting?
What did you just
You
call
mean
me?
Steve
From
from accounting? Because we have accountants.
You just used my government name, by the way.
Yes, I did.
What, Steve?
From accounting? Yes.
No, it was accounting. Your name's accounting?
It was from. Gosh, what's wrong with you?
No.
So I'm just reading the first line of this article, and it says, in all the years I've been debating race and racism with white people, the most common response some have offered of their own defense hangs on black people's use of the N-word. If they can say it, why can't we? It's just
That statement isn't good enough, but that statement explains everything.
somebody tweeted Rip Delaney.
I told you. Her social media life is ruined.
Yeah.
It will be 100% ruined, and it's at least 25% her fault, right? I'll give it at least 25%, but the rest of it, I really don't. I feel more bad for her than I do.
Okay, so they're kind of taking a radical approach on this. And it says the legacy of racism in the United States revolves around the N-word and how many in the white community have historically used it as a verbal weapon against black Americans. It's as bracing a reminder as cotton, chains, and Confederacy memorabilia of what our ancestors endured for centuries. Even today, for many of us, when a white person utters the N-word, it's like the sound of a whip slapping the back on a slave.
No.
That's a little ridiculous.
That's beyond a little ridiculous.
That's radical.
Yeah, that's... I mean, because how can you... I understand there are people out there today that are still racist, and those are pretty terrible people. But, like, someone who was born in the 1990s, like, our age, our generation, they didn't go through that.
Most of the people I look up to are black. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, Will Smith, and one of my favorite actors of all time.
Yeah.
Idris Elba is another one. They're both black.
Donald Glover.
Oh, Donald Glover is amazing.
Yeah.
And see, like, so...
And
what?
I'm just... I want to see Solo so bad.
Oh, no, and so, seriously, like, our generation is the least racist generation of all time, and yet we're still getting blamed for this stuff.
But, I mean, that's not to say that there isn't racism still from our generation, because there is. People are
I'm
still
just saying
racist.
the least
Yeah. I
racist.
mean, there's still shit that happens with
Let's
race.
be honest, the only
and-
truly, like, really racist people out there are probably, like, the inbred. Like, my great grandpappy said.
He's also my granddad.
He's also, it's weird. In the morning, I don't know whether to call my mom mother or aunt.
Or
But-
sister.
Their family tree's so inbred it looks like the Olympic rings.
But, I mean, yeah, like,
No, and
we're not saying that there's no racism, there's no
that's
discrimination,
definitely
there's
not what
there's
we're
no like segregation anymore. Which I mean, we know that there still is. There definitely is, and I mean we've seen it in our lives. So we're not saying that at all. We're just saying that it's still a little ridiculous that things are the way that they are. And
Yeah, no,
and
so, you go ahead.
this article, after that they say, because of its loaded history, it will never be okay for white people to use the N-word. In parentheses, not even if it's Eminem, though they inexplicably seem to get a pass from the hip-hop community, no matter what the circumstances. What?
No, because he's condemning it. I'm guessing this guy is absolutely condemning white people from saying the N-word
yeah, I mean,
completely.
he's saying that apparently Eminem it's a free pass.
So, like, and I'm going to try to word this correctly. What's worse? Or maybe not what's worse.
Dying alone.
No, I really want to word this correctly because I don't want it to come off wrong.
You can take a couple shots. We can edit it.
Okay.
It's a lot of work for me, though.
I'm sorry.
Is it worse to be an actual black person and somebody be racist towards you? All right. Shut up. Okay. Take two. Is it worse to be black and somebody racist towards you, or is it worse to be a white person and somebody accuse you and condemn you for being racist?
I'd say it depends on the setting of the second one because, I mean, now you can be fired
Yeah, I
on
could
the
be.
spot for that stuff. Same with, like, sexual, like, being accused of sexual harassment, whether you did or not. It got to a point.
If somebody's racist to a black person, everybody on the planet, everybody in America at least, everybody in America is going to condemn it immediately. Immediately. But if somebody is accused of being racist, when like there's no clear, like, innocent and proven guilty kind of a thing,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
she's immediately condemned. Or not she, but they or whoever is immediately condemned. And so, I mean, that's the, like, nobody's going to immediately just take the side of innocence
Yeah.
for them. And so, like, that's the question. What's worse? Because honestly, I don't think most people wouldn't be able to survive the allegation of legitimate racism if they're not actually racist.
So the same guy that wrote that article that we just were talking about has only one other article that he's posted on Variety, And it's Childish Gambino's "This Is America" sums up why this black expat fears going back.
Going back to what?
Uh,
What does expat mean?
Sure.
After living abroad for nearly 12 years on 5 different continents, why is fear gripping me more tightly than ever now? It's the same. It's the guy that wrote this article.
That's what I'm saying. Why are we, or not the only thing that I'm saying, but that's another thing. Why is it seem that
So-
we're more racist now than we were?
Well, see,
back
here's
in
the
the
thing, though.
1960s.
You gotta take a step back, look at it, look at the bigger picture. Is he saying he's scared because he lives in a country filled with a bunch of white people?
That are
Is-
racist? That's
Well,
what I'm saying. That
no,
are
but
racist.
I'm saying like, not even to that extent, because you can't you can't look at someone down the hall, across the store, across the parking lot, and go, that person's racist, unless they're wearing like Nazi uniform, marching with their other neo-Nazi friends, like, or wearing KKK garb.
Yeah.
Like, so he's just assuming the majority of people are racist, is because
how's the article
they're
looking?
white. Is that not racist? To
Yeah.
look at another race and
Condemning
say,
a race because of what they believe or what they could believe? Yeah, that is racist.
I've been reading this article and what he's saying, and I understand that a person's feelings are a person's feelings, but the way that they can convey them can sometimes be a little radical. This guy says, I'm going to read from the article. The final scene of Childish Gambino's "This Is America" sends a shiver down my spine because it recreates a nightmare I've been having a lot lately. In this sequence, a shirtless Donald Glover, a visionary performer who uses Childish Gambino as his musical alter ego, runs from a pack of people.
A pack of people.
They don't appear to be Get Out threatening like the movie Get Out, but it's a black man running from a mob with a terrified look on his face. You do the math. Seen out of context, one could mistake it for a variation on the celebrity theme of A Hard Day's Night, but guns firing and black people falling elsewhere in the video puts it firmly in its place. It's a hard day's night, all right, but not for the mop-topped white guys.
Top white guys.
In my nocturnal version of This Is America, I'm not shirtless, but I'm sprinting. I'm running for my life, afraid of what might happen to me if I dare turn around and go back to the United States. You would be welcomed with open arms because it's the United States.
yeah,
You're not going to step on the shore and somebody shoot you dead because you're black. That's not how that works.
Here's the thing. All of it gets debunked by the simplistic fact that This Is America got millions upon millions upon millions of views the very first day it was released.
I think
that one climbed the charts.
Also, I think it's one because it's Donald Glover and he's popular and he's awesome. I
And
love
he-
Donald Glover.
But also on top of that, he's not that like he is popular, but he's not like
He's not you.
that
Go
popular.
back 5 years ago and he wasn't like one of the big names.
Yeah.
But with the internet, that almost means nothing
No,
now. But at the same time, it's like he's released some great stuff.
Yeah.
But I can walk up to just about anybody. I mean, I used to date a black girl that did not even know who Donald Glover was,
Yeah.
or Childish Gambino, or didn't even listen to a single one of his songs. So I mean,
I think it climbed the charts quickly. One, because it was a Donald Glover song that he hadn't released anything besides his album recently,
Yeah.
which I think is what sparked views. And then people were like, "Oh, this is a message. Let's send it to everybody." And he himself said that it wasn't like a racial. I mean, not. I don't want to say it's not a racial thing, but he said that it was
left to interpretation.
kind of it was his interpretation of what it's like to be a black entertainer in 2018. That's what he said.
So
And,
it's heavily laden with symbolism and
well, yeah, of course it's gonna be.
And things that don't confirm themselves, right? And so I mean,
And they were and people were talking about how parts of his dance he resembles the stance of the cartoon of the Jim Crow, of when Jim Crow laws were
okay.
put in. Of like part of his dance resembles that, and he was like, "That's just how I dance."
Yeah, that's just how he dances.
But also like
they
the
read
pants that
into
he's
it.
and I think people read into it a lot more.
they put what they wanted to see.
Yeah, of course there are things like that in the.
Yeah.
And I mean, he meant to do, what he did with the video, and it's very evident that it was a racially charged video. But I think it was good. It was great. I loved it. I love the message.
I think
everything
the
about it.
simplistic, the basic simplistic message is, or at least my take on it, without reading because there were people that were like, they saw a dude jump off of one of the sky risers, and it was all like, yeah, he was really speaking about suicide in that video or in that clip, and I was like, no, it was just some dude that fell off of a high riser. Like it, no, and so I don't know, my easiest or simplistic view of it would be that a lot of black people are dying.
Yeah.
While at the same time they create some of the best like music, and so like you see one black person dying, like, and then like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I love it though. I love it.
Oh, it's an
a great
amazing.
song.
It's like the song itself is kind of, but like, but no, it's great beat, great symbolism, great art, perfect.
I will say this: his dance is like, it is on point. If I saw someone doing that like homecoming or prom, I just stand by and like applaud.
It's awesome. I love the video because you can put that dance to anything.
Yeah.
I saw it to the Wii Sports theme.
Da, 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 da,
If we play it, it is.
Yeah, I can.
Quit thinking copyrighted thoughts.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sir Gilahad.
That's
Gilly hat.
That's Galahad to you.
Sir Gilly hat.
I have one of those. Don't laugh.
Gilly hat.
I have a whole ghillie suit.
Oh, I was about to make that joke.
Yeah.
It's no joke.
What else we got?
I bought.
Let's move on from this one.
I saw this the other day on Twitter. It kind of popped up to me really quick. Yeah. Senator Cruz introduces a bill to make individual tax cuts permanent.
Awesome.
This bill will ensure that 90% of American wage earners continue to see tax reduction after 2025. All senators should support this legislation. Because of the tax reform, a family of 4 earning the median income of $73,000 will receive a tax cut of more than $2,000 this year. Similarly, a single parent with 1 child earning $41,000 per year will see tax reduction of 73%, resulting in a 1304 tax cut between 2018 and 2025. American families and individuals will see tax reduction totaling $1.17 trillion because of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that is that from, where's that from?
This is the Americans for Tax Reform.
Okay.
ATR.org.
So it is a pro-tax reform page.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I mean, if that's even half true, that's like...
Yeah. Well, it kind of lists out the legislation. It says Senator Cruz legislation will make this tax reduction permanent, including the doubling of the standard deduction to $12,000 and $24,000 for a family. Provision is a $690 billion tax cut. If allowed to sunset, the standard deduction would revert back to $6,000 for individuals and $12,000 for a family. Most of these are working in doubles, so it's just kind of doubling the tax cut. The reduction of nearly every individual income tax bracket, tax cut of $1.2 trillion between 2018 and 2025. The doubling of the child tax credit to $2,000 instead of $1,000. A $533 billion tax cut. A 20% deduction for pass-through businesses. LLCs, partnerships, corporations.
No, businesses are taxed the most.
An $88 billion tax cut between 2018 and 2025. The doubling of the death tax exemption to $11 million. This is a $69 billion tax cut.
A death tax?
It would revert back to $5.49
I get taxed
million.
when I die?
No, your family gets taxed.
Meaning taxpayers, including many family-owned businesses, would be hit by the death tax.
I didn't know I get taxed when I die.
That sounds a lot worse than it is. They got hit by the death tax. That's a tax that kills you.
No,
dude, that's the like.
There are a lot of senators. There are a lot of senators that were screaming, like Nancy Pelosi, that was screaming, "People will die because of this tax return," and I'm like, "Who's died strictly?"
They're gonna break their backs from all this cash they'll be carrying.
Oh, the checks will be.
We just dropped 1.7 trillion on this poor family. They're dead now.
How?
We dropped it on their house in a semi.
No,
It
and
will-
so
there-
How's
there's
that?
one more. There's the very last
Okay.
one is an increase in the threshold that the alternative minimum tax hits individuals so that it kicks in at $1 million of annual income. This is a tax cut of $572 billion, and it will, if it sunsets, it will revert back. It says millions of families will be hit by the AMT. So
dude,
I mean,
the tax cut, man. I got a lot more money in my in my paycheck. I did. I got a lot more money in my paycheck, and, like, immediately.
yeah.
Which, like, the big fear about giving money to the people. People. No, giving money to the people is the fact that they'll just put it in a bank and they'll save it, or no, even worse, they'll put it in a mattress and they'll never use it again, and, like, it'll never be part of the system again.
Yeah.
When in actuality, it's inclined me to want to buy more things, and then not only that, I save more and I want to buy more. I put more in the bank. The bank now uses my money more of my money to invest in people, and so there's a lot of
I mean, this is a semi-old article. This is April 23rd of this
Yeah.
year.
yeah.
So
Well, it's DC. Bills take about 3 years.
true.
Not Donald
Understood.
Trump's bills.
We can bring this back up in let's call it 75 weeks.
Episode 75.
Maybe 77. Episode 77.
Quiet clap.
Math. I left that vague so you can interpret it as meth or math. It was a meth.
Meth.
Well, you see, I used calculus to derive the. I derived it, then I integrated it to get the original equation back, and then I just added 75 and 2 together.
Did you also put it in a spoon and?
No,
Line it up.
I had to carry the 1 for that.
You only carry the one for heroin.
Yeah. Pro tip: only carry the one for heroin.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs.
Stay in
Serious.
school.
For real though.
So, I didn't know that this was a movie coming out.
Okay. Yeah.
But-
this is great.
I haven't seen the trailer for it. I have seen nothing about it except for this article I found on
None
CNN
of us have. Yeah, none of us have.
called "The Happy Time Murders." It comes out this summer, August 17th.
And Melissa McCarthy's part of it, right?
Melissa McCarthy is in it.
It's gotta be great then, right?
Yeah, no,
I-
because she's
I
funny.
love the movie.
She's
but
hilarious.
She's
Spy?
an improv queen.
Spy, fantastic.
Yeah, she's an improv
Oh yeah, no,
queen.
Spy was really good. Now before that, I was always on the fence about her.
Yeah.
It's
Did you ever
'cause
see Identity Thief?
Yes.
I did see
That was
one.
so funny.
I'm just not a big fan of, like, okay, I might get we're gonna get, like, demonetized for this one. Like, I'm just not a fan of, like, bigger people making fun of the fact that they're bigger. Like, that's just not something I find funny. I don't like. It's just
Yeah.
it's like using my own pudge to find, like, oh, I'm falling. Like, that's not funny to me. But yeah,
I'm McFallen. You ever see that video of the woman that falls in McDonald's? Oh, I'm McFallen!
No,
Isn't
and
that
so
the same girl that goes around falling places on purpose?
No.
It's not?
No.
Okay.
but genuinely, she's gotten better about it, and she's actually really good. Like, even Spy, she was still a little bit bigger in Spy, but she wasn't as, like,
She didn't rely on her size.
No,
to-
and that's-
yeah,
for
that movie
comedy.
wasn't about that. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. And
That's why I never saw the movie Tammy.
I never did.
you're
either.
absolutely right, because I thought
Because
that was
the
degrading.
entire movie was bagging on the fact that she was a larger person. And I understand that she signed up for that. She was part of the
Yeah.
the writing.
She was
A
okay
lot of-
with it.
yeah,
but doesn't
but-
mean I find that entertaining.
Same, and the same. I wouldn't find like a really really skinny person like trying to play the ribs like a xylophone. Like I wouldn't
Wasn't
find
she
that
a
funny
part of a contract
either.
that said that she couldn't lose weight because she was only hired because she was fat?
Hmm?
I think there was an actual contract that she signed on to.
It may have been the TV show she was on before.
It could have been.
Because I know, I'm pretty sure Parks and Rec with Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt. Yeah, that's the right name. Sheesh.
Did he have to gain weight to go back on the show?
Well, I think because when he did Guardians, he got ripped,
Yeah.
slim and ripped.
He
That
sure did.
you see that that classic scene, where it's panning up and it's showing like abs to pecs and arms and all that. And then he went back on Parks and Rec, and I'm pretty sure he had to gain weight. Either that or he
He-
put a pillow in his shirt.
I don't think he gained weight. I think it was just the shirt he was wearing because my girlfriend and I watched basically the
Did you
entire
take measurements on
No.
the TV screen?
the entire series in like 3 weeks.
That's impressive.
Yeah. and there's a lot of nights just watching Parks and Rec. There's only 5-6 seasons.
How many episodes a season?
Like 20.
Yeah.
And they're like 23 minutes. They're kind of like The Office.
Okay.
There's not as many seasons.
So 3 weeks, 21 days, 100 episodes.
Do the math. Calculus it real
It's
quick.
about 5.
It's about 5.
There's a decimal. I don't feel like doing that.
But no. You can see like in this like between the seasons, like one season he's kind of chubby,
Yeah.
and then I guess like right after that is when he went to go do Guardians, and like the next season he's ripped.
Mm.
And I mean you don't see like
Okay.
all of his abs and muscles, but you see that he is a lot slimmer,
Okay.
and in this show, and it's definitely evident. But I mean, yeah, I love Melissa McCarthy. She's an
And
improv
she's
queen.
good now.
She was on Gilmore Girls.
I don't
She was
watch
she
that
worked in the
show.
diner.
Oh,
You know, I didn't realize. You ever watch the show Supernatural?
no.
Never mind then. Not relevant. Not relevant.
Great story.
If you never saw it, you don't know who I'm talking about. But one of the guys on that show was in Gilmore Girls too.
Oh.
But yeah,
You say that like we all
But yeah,
watched
no.
Gilmore
Have you
Girls.
seen what she looks like now?
Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah. She's thin. Like not thin.
But
she's-
compared to when she was on
Oh
the TV
yeah, no,
show
she
back
looks
in
really
the-
good. Like she looks.
I don't even know. When was that TV show? It was like Mike and Molly? Was that the one? No,
Yeah.
not Mike.
Was it Mike and Molly?
Or is it?
Yeah, I got you.
No.
I got you, boy.
I'm
Speaking
putting
of big to
90s
small,
sitcoms.
have you seen like the Honey Boo Boo's mom
No,
recently?
no.
She slimmed down a lot.
Well, she got a liposuction.
Did she? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, she got a
You want me to
liposuction.
get started on that rant?
No.
She got her horribly like uneducated seeming child on TV rich and then used all the money to better herself.
So would I.
Yeah.
I'm 100% kidding.
I wanted to high five that, but I was like, no, nope. Taking it back.
Context.
Taking
No,
it
no,
back.
no, no. I'm 100% kidding. But like,
Yeah, it was Mike and
but
Molly.
she's
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
anyway. So this article, it's a movie, Happy Time Murders. It's basically like a play on the Muppets, a little bit in Sesame Street.
Any puppeteering
Any-
show.
It like the poster looks exactly like a Muppet.
I was gonna say it could be making fun of that Lending Tree commercial with the puppet in it. You know.
Anyway, so basically, the problem is that Sesame Street, the company that made Sesame Street, is suing, is suing the makers of this movie because one of their posters says "No Sesame, all Street,"
Yeah.
and that's their tagline for it. And Sesame Street is mad; they're pissed.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I get why they're upset because
Well,
like you're
go
such a
ahead and read-
child-friendly thing, and
Read-
then read the part where it's like.
And this is an article on CNN, right?
This is on CNN, yes. The R-rated film follows two clashing detectives, Melissa McCarthy and her partner, a puppet named Phil Phillips, in Los Angeles as they work together to solve the brutal murders of a former cast of a beloved classic puppet television show. But it's not the film's use of profane puppets that Sesame Street is upset about. It's the tagline used in the film's marketing campaign, "No Sesame, all Street." I feel like that's just, they just found like a bun out on the road. No sesame seeds.
We'll see.
Just the bun.
Yeah, I know.
No bun, no sesame, all street.
It's like no. So they're upset over the fact that they used the phrase.
They used the words sesame and street in their.
Are we going to be copyrighted for this? Because
No.
we keep saying it.
Yeah.
Are,
If you say Sesame Street, no, it's an art. It's a
that's what I'm saying.
no.
So if I were to drop my bun on the street and be all like, oh no, all of my sesame got on this street. Whoop whoop. Like, boy,
He's got a bun. Tackle him.
In a lawsuit obtained by CNN, Sesame Workshop, the educational organization behind the long-running children's show, argues that STX Entertainment does not have the right to use Sesame Street in its tagline. The lawsuit particularly cites use of the tagline in the film's just-released trailer with explicit profane, drug-using, misogynistic, violent, copulating, and even ejaculating puppets. That's the line that gets me. Ejaculating puppets. I haven't watched the trailer. I didn't know
As
about that until now.
misogynistic ejaculating puppets.
As Owen Wilson would say. Wow.
They argue that the tagline deliberately confuses consumers into mistakenly believing that Sesame is associated with, has allowed, or even endorsed or produced the movie,
No, it doesn't.
and tarnishes Sesame's brand.
No, it doesn't.
The film is directed by Brian Henson, son of late puppeteer Jim Henson, who helped develop Sesame Street characters and created the Muppets. An STX spokeswoman issued a statement on Friday attributed to a puppet lawyer named Fred. Hold up. There's a such thing as puppet lawyers? Is he a lawyer that is a puppet?
I am in the wrong career.
Or is he a lawyer for puppets?
No, there's so many lawyers now. That's the reason. There's so many people became lawyers all at once.
But you had to be specialized in a certain thing.
And so, like, now...
I'm a grass lawyer. Get off the grass.
Grass.
It's grass.
Your neighbor's lawn not cut down to the 2-inch maximum required by city ordinance? Call me, the grass lawyer.
No. Is your neighbor abusing the grass? Call me. Grass is supposed to be longer than 2 inches.
If we were lawyers, your name would be Dewey. I'd be Cheatham, and he would be Howe. Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe law firm. That's a Three Stooges joke. That can't be copyrighted because that was like back in the 40s.
As long as we only listen to Kentucky Bluegrass.
Yes. They walk in and there's sand in the actual like law firm. There's just sand and like there's a cabana.
Because we don't believe in grass.
One of us, you're probably just sitting there with your feet kicked up playing a banjo.
Why am I the one with the banjo?
Because you know how to play a banjo.
No, I don't.
Kind of.
I can play it.
Your dad has a banjo, so you're automatically.
I can
play
play a
it.
G chord because that's all the strings open.
Good.
Get like little bumper stickers that say cash, gas, or grass.
Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, grass lawyers.
So
attorneys at grass. Attorneys at lawn.
What are you doing?
Attorneys at lawn. Yes.
Oh no, this is amazing.
The spokeswoman issued a statement, blah, blah, blah. STX loved the idea of working closely with Brian Henson and the Jim Henson Company to tell the untold story of the active lives of Henson puppets when they're not performing in front of children. The statement said, while we're disappointed that Sesame Street does not share in the fun, we are confident in our legal position. We look forward to introducing adult moviegoers and our adorably unapologetic characters this summer.
Yeah, I don't think that lawsuit's going to go anywhere.
The lawsuit asked for a jury trial, punitive damages, and that
I don't know, man.
Happy Time Murders changes its advertising, which is an easy fix for them. As long as they could just go like balls to the wall and be like, nah, screw it, we're gonna keep it.
Literally,
screw you guys.
What if they change it to All Street, No Sesame?
Like that's the name of the movie. They changed the whole movie title to No Street. I mean, no Sesame, All Street.
No Street, All Sesame.
Well, I'm saying because technically it's no longer like, yeah, technically, Sesame Street, no Sesame, All Street. Street Sesame,
if they
that's
switch,
not a thing.
Yeah, if they switch that, they could get out of that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not attorneys at law, but
hey guys, if you're listening out there, we got your backup plan.
Just credit us, really.
The Happy Time Murders is set to hit theaters August 17th.
Join, view us on Patreon and on Twitter.
Lol. We're at just under an hour.
Cool.
You want to bring up my sidebar news?
Oh,
okay.
no.
We just have to read. We just
here's
have
Melissa
to...
McCarthy.
Okay, well, they can't see that, so while you two are doing that.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
She looks good.
She looks
CBS
so good
News.
right now.
CBS News. This is the headline. More than 220,000 pans of Spam recalled over oral injuries.
How do you injure yourself on a can of Spam? And why are there so many people that have?
Over how many?
220,000.
220,000
pounds.
Okay.
And let's see.
And
Let's say a can of Spam is like $3.
That's a lot of Spam.
That is a lot of Spam.
What if they all took turns on the same can? 220,000 one can.
Yeah, that comes over to like over $500,000.
That's hot. Like what? How does one injure themselves on a can of Spam?
I don't know.
How dumb do you have to be
Okay.
to not be able to open?
Yourself.
It could be like.
That's half the population of Wyoming.
What?
Seriously, that is. So I looked it up, and why is it says that's weird. It says 51 Oh no, okay, it's got Washington D.C. on it. All right, I was like, if they
51.
include Puerto Rico? No.
There's, maybe they could be considering oral injuries as cuts.
Yes, and
but also, wait, hold up. Oral injuries. How are they cutting their mouths? Are they trying to lick the spam out of the can? Is that what's going on?
Listen, I've had spam. It is not that good.
It's not looking good.
No.
That should be the new slogan.
I don't
The
like
slogan.
the spam, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys. My dad loved the spam.
My
dad puts.
Spam's okay.
My dad puts.
Yeah, it's
spam
okay,
on
but
eggs
like I
it's
said,
nobody's
it's not
business.
something you open and you go, oh wow, there's a little bit of spam residue left on the edge of this can.
Lacerates tongue.
Yeah.
Trying to
Worth
get the
it.
last bit. He's like,
Worth it. Worth it.
The tongue like dripping blood. Worth it.
I just picture SpongeBob
Gotta get stapled back
licking Gary's.
Boop.
It's like blah.
Never once.
Can you read into that a little bit more?
Never once have I felt
it doesn't
unsafe.
really get any more specific.
It's just
It doesn't go into like what these oral injuries are. It's just quote unquote oral injuries, and they like pulled any. It was like up to the date of February 2021. Like any that had that expiration date were being recalled.
So what was in the spam? Like,
I mean,
okay,
that could
if
be a
it's
thing
recalled,
too.
that's the question. If it's being
Spam.
recalled, that means that there's a defect in the can.
What
I was
was,
about to
what
say,
was in the spam?
it's
Spam.
either something in the can is wrong, and like when they're trying to maybe scrape it out, it's coming out with the spam, or it's something in the spam itself that's
Yeah.
causing injuries. That I understand.
Bad batch of spam. Put you in the
But the
hospital
way they
for
worded it
weeks.
sounds like they're talking about the can.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I've never
so-
felt unsafe wielding a can of spam.
So does that mean like there was like a
Until now. That's a movie right there.
like somebody broke something and it got into all the spam?
Could be.
Dropped a
that's
bottle?
That's possible. They've had batches get contaminated with stuff like that.
We had somebody in the restaurant I worked. Somebody broke a glass in one of the ice bins accidentally. Didn't tell anybody about it.
That's a
One
terrible.
of the guests cut their throat that day.
Dang.
Oh,
Yeah,
dang.
they cut their mouth like
Why
trying
would you
to
not?
drink.
Ice is the cheapest commodity.
Yeah, like literally we had to drain the entire ice
Yeah,
bucket.
I mean, so why would you not like? Hey guys, it's not like you mess up and you ruin like all of the chicken supply in the back room.
Yeah, exactly. Like
it
you
was
don't
ice.
contaminate the entire freezer. It's ice. It's water. It's literally
You dump it out and you make more.
it's water with edges. Like that's.
Your girlfriend's gonna hate you for that.
No,
Oh.
I used to say it's water with corners, but I've been enlightened to the fact that there are ice cubes that don't have corners. They only have edges. I'm used to cubular ice.
No. If it has an edge,
Well,
when you consider that the corner of the
if
room.
it's rounded,
Yeah.
if it's rounded, it has an edge, but not necessarily. A
Yeah,
corner.
like if
Okay,
they're
but
kind
a
of like,
cylinder still has.
No, what if it is a perfect
it
sphere?
doesn't have a corner.
What if it's a
It has
sphere of
edges.
ice? What if
If
it's
you have spherical ice, fuck you.
how awesome,
Oh!
how awesome would that be though?
Oh!
I saw that in a Star Trek movie and I've wanted it ever
I,
since.
no, there's a restaurant that does that.
really?
There is a
Like
restaurant. I
a
think it's
ball?
I
Yeah,
think it's in
perfect
LA.
sphere.
They make perfect
I
spherical.
think I remember that because there's like
ice.
a process they have to go through where like it molds like the halves
Oh,
or something.
I mean,
and they have
yeah,
to-
and there's certain drinks that like
Yeah.
you're supposed to have it on a spherical ice cube.
yeah, like they
Well,
put it in
ice
and
sphere.
like, pour it on the
Yeah.
How interesting.
But like I feel like if you have spherical ice,
It really
you are
touched
being
home for
you are
Nathaniel.
being you are being
Holy cow.
so extra.
Oh my God, sir! I don't even know your name. No, I don't know. I haven't been able to pronounce it.
Percival.
Percival.
Yes.
All right, I know. It's so bad. Day 2.
Or like we need name tags, but only for you.
Because I don't address anybody by name.
No. That's his thing. He starts laughing and he's like, "Oh, you."
You, Sir Percival.
Yeah.
I'm not cutting any of that out.
I hate you. That's fine. I don't care. You don't have to cut any of this.
I don't care if people know our names really. Just as
Yeah,
long as
I
they
mean,
don't know what we look like.
So vague. I'm the city in Texas.
Dallas?
No, San Antone.
It's pronounced San Antoine. Wow.
Wow.
So, have we introduced him to that character?
No, we have not.
Okay, so you know that I like to do voices sometimes.
Yes.
So
Sometimes the voices in his head come out. You know?
yeah, I mean, I am diagnosed schizophrenic. It's there.
So which one is talking to us right now?
Shut up. It's not multiple personality disorder.
Oh, sorry. I'm dyslexic.
There's.
I'm Galahad.
And that's the show. All right, see you guys.
No, it's oh god. I kind of had this thought of like a voice that would match like a persona, and it's this voice that you would think about as the guy that kind of sits in the corner at a party, like a college party, that doesn't really say much, and if you could go to talk to him, and they're like, "Hey, how you doing, bud?" And he's just kind of like,
I'm a bit uncomfortable. It's not really my place. I don't really like a lot of people here. I don't know anyone. I'm just kind of here.
And we called him Edmund, and he's this adorable little British boy who
Fake?
yeah, it's a persona.
Completely.
Yeah, this was kind of the thought that I had, and we kind of named him Edmund, and he
kind of sits back here and doesn't really say a lot.
He hasn't died.
he hasn't died since. And then I kind of think, personally, I think it's funnier if you make him Australian.
See, like, what I don't know quite really why I'm here. I'm just kind of here in the background, and I want to be a knight like you guys, but I can't. He said that my knightship would be granted on the 13th month on the 32nd day, and he said I could bring chips and salsa and any kind of drinks I wanted.
All right, Edmund. go fish some fish and chips.
I absolutely love that character. It's just fun. It's
It's definitely going to be a reoccurring thing.
Okay, that's fine.
And then what are your thoughts?
I don't really know.
We could have like a
I've
little
been looking at the
segment.
dust bunnies.
We could have like a little segment. Dude, Edmund's thoughts.
This week,
On
previously on Edmund's Thoughts.
Why don't we see clouds that are? Why do we see clouds that are shaped like other things, but we don't see other things shaped like clouds?
okay.
That tea kettle laugh. That really seals the deal on the fact that he's either British and or Australian.
We have to figure out a way. We have to figure out a way to like completely.
Immersively.
Let's go to Edmund.
Let's go to Edmund, and then like add in your Edmund
People
skit. Make
will
sure you
think-
don't laugh in that little segment,
It
and then
needs-
cut it. Like,
It needs
can't
to be.
breathe.
This is the goal. That if and when we become popular, and by-
if hard,
yeah.
yes. This is going
People who
south.
watch this think Edmund's just an actual fourth person we bring in.
People that are like tuning in like years down the road.
Yeah, and then they go back and watch the original series.
Oh,
you know.
how are we gonna do that if we actually get a cam?
It doesn't matter.
I'll just dress up.
No, we'll always have him on Skype.
I'll be in blackface.
Oh yeah, we'll have a faux Skype. We'll have like a faux Skype, and we'll bring him in. Hello.
Everybody missed that comment.
Yeah, I heard.
Okay.
I heard it.
What'd you say?
I was like, I'll be in blackface.
Oh no, that's not a good joke. We spent the whole first segment trying to bridge some.
And we've come full
Robert
circle.
Downey Jr. did it.
Hey, that was good though.
That was hilarious.
There are a lot of people that hate that. There are a lot of people.
Like I said, they probably couldn't make that movie today.
There's a lot of movies that you can't make today.
And we've come full circle. We've reached an hour.
Is that a
Do you want
trademark?
to cut it?
I mean, tomato. I don't know.
We don't have much else to talk
There's
about.
something I wanted to bring up and I totally forgot.
What?
I don't remember. I forgot.
Why'd you forget it?
Because
Then why did you bring it up?
I was trying to have conversation.
All right, so
This is the only social interaction I get all week.
your
You work
mom
at a
finally lets
grocery
you out of the
store.
closet.
I don't socialize.
You should just go up to random people in the grocery store and just start socializing. I didn't say how to
Right.
socialize. I'm just saying socialize.
Just hug a random stranger.
Don't hug. Walk
Oh.
up behind them. Whisper in their ear. You smell different when you're awake.
Oh.
Your skin. I can't wait to try it on.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
I killed Mufasa.
All right, we're cutting it.
Okay.
So that's it.
All right, this has been Knights of the Wrong Table,
Oh.
number 2.
Well, where can they follow us? That's one thing we haven't done.
All the
Yeah, we
thing,
did.
all the places.
Have we done
Yeah.
that on the podcast?
Yeah.
I mean, we can do it
the
again.
first one.
We're early. We can do it again.
Yeah.
Follow me on Twitter at Sir Bors.
Yeah.
_ KotWT.
Yes, KotWT for Knights of the Wrong Table.
Same Galahad _ KotWT.
Yeah. And Percival _ KotWT. Follow suit for everybody.
Yeah, and then you can
Um,
follow us. The page is also on Twitter. The
The
full
page
page.
is on Twitter, the full
Really need to
page.
start posting things.
Knights of
Yeah.
the Wrong Table on Twitter.
YouTube.
On YouTube, Knights of the Wrong Table podcast. On Facebook, we have a Facebook page, Knights of the Wrong Table. We have
A Patreon.
We have a Patreon. If you feel like donating, go ahead over there. It's much appreciated.
We'll put your name in the.
Yeah, we'll put you in the
Yeah.
description if you donate. We'll put
You know
up
what?
here.
If we actually get our first Patreon, we'll
We
say
should-
that. We'll,
Edmund should be our first page.
Dude, okay, we can do that as a bit. Edmund reads the patrons' names.
Okay.
there
yes.
you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's how we include them in everything.
Edmund,
Sweet.
who's our Patreons?
We don't have any. We're
Shut
broke.
up, Edmund.
We're broke.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, listening, being here,
Whatever you were doing, good job.
Yeah,
feeding
no,
your kids. Good job.
we'll continue.
Positive reinforcement.
We'll continue to
That's-
find places to upload this.
Yeah. And
SoundCloud.
we'll update you guys on Twitter
Yeah.
and anything you follow on. We'll be putting out where we're going. So
All right. See you guys.
peace. Roll music.
Shut up and sit down.